Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by rolling hills and golden fields, there lived a kind and gentle father with his two beloved sons. Their home was filled with laughter, warmth, and the simple joys of family life. The father worked hard to provide for his children, teaching them the values of love, respect, and hard work. The older son was a good and faithful man, always by his father's side. He helped with the daily chores, tended the fields, and made sure everything at home ran smoothly. He was dependable, steady, and never complained about his responsibilities. The younger son, on the other hand, was different. He was restless and full of dreams, always gazing out the window and imagining what lay beyond the familiar village. He longed for adventure, excitement, and the chance to see the world for himself. He wanted to leave the safety of his home and, make his own way in the world. The thought of distant lands and new experiences filled his heart with hope and curiosity, even if it meant leaving behind everything he knew and loved. One day, after much thought, the younger son gathered his courage and went to his father. With an earnest expression, he asked for his share of their inheritance, hoping to use it to start a new life far from home. The father was heartbroken, hearing his son's request. He loved his son deeply and worried about what might happen to him in the wide, unpredictable world. But he also understood his son's desire for independence and adventure. So with a heavy heart, he granted his son's request. He divided his wealth and handed the younger son his share, hoping that his love and wisdom would guide him no matter where he went. The younger son packed his belongings, took his inheritance, and left the only home he had ever known. He was filled with excitement, nervousness, and a sense of freedom he had never felt before. He was excited to start his new life, and honestly, he didn't look back. With every step he felt the thrill of possibility, eager to discover what adventures awaited him on the road ahead. The younger son traveled to a faraway land. He spent his money on lavish parties and extravagant living. He surrounded himself with people who only cared about his wealth. For a while he was happy. He felt free and independent. But, his money eventually ran out. The parties stopped, his so-called friends disappeared, he was left all alone. He was desperate for work and food. He took a job feeding pigs. He was so hungry that he even considered eating the pigs' food. He had hit rock bottom. The younger son realized the gravity of his mistakes. He had wasted his inheritance. He had betrayed his father's love. He felt a deep sense of shame and regret. He remembered the love and kindness of his father. He remembered the comfort and security of his home. He knew he had done wrong. He missed his family terribly. He decided to go back home and ask for forgiveness. He knew he didn't deserve it, but he had to try. He longed for his father's love. The younger son set off on the long journey home, his feet dragging with every step. The road stretched out before him, winding through fields and hills, each mile a reminder of how far he had wandered from the life he once knew. He was tired, hungry, and filled with shame. His clothes were torn and dirty, and his stomach ached with hunger. Every step felt heavier than the last, weighed down by regret and memories of better days. As he walked, he rehearsed what he would say to his father, whispering apologies and promises into the wind. He wondered if his father would even want to see him again, or if the door to his old life was forever closed. He knew deep down that he was no longer worthy to be called his son. The weight of his mistakes pressed on his heart, and he feared rejection more than anything. As he approached his home, his heart pounded in his chest. The familiar outline of the house appeared on the horizon, stirring up a mix of dread and longing. He was filled with both fear and hope, unsure of what awaited him. Would he be turned away, or would he find forgiveness? The uncertainty made his hands tremble. Suddenly he saw his father in the distance, standing at the edge of the road, watching and waiting. The sight took his breath away. His father ran to him, arms wide open, closing the gap between them with every stride. The young man could hardly believe it. His father was running to meet him, not with anger, but with love. He embraced him tightly, and welcomed him home with open arms, holding him as if he would never let go. In that moment, all the son's fears melted away. The son was overwhelmed with his father's love, tears streaming down his face. He realized that despite everything, he was still cherished, still wanted, and finally, truly home. The father had been waiting for his son's return for what felt like an eternity. Every day he would look out the window, hoping to catch a glimpse of his beloved child on the horizon. The ache of absence was heavy in his heart, but his hope never faded. He remembered the laughter and joy his son once brought to their home, and he longed for the day when those memories would become reality again. He had never given up hope, not for a single moment. Even when others doubted, the father believed that his son would one day return. He spent many nights in prayer, asking for his son's safety and guidance, trusting that love would lead him home. His faith was unwavering, a beacon shining through the darkest nights. When the day finally came and he saw his son in the distance, the father's heart leapt with joy. He ran to meet him, arms open wide, tears streaming down his face. He was, honestly, overjoyed to have his son back, safe and sound, unable to contain his happiness. The reunion was filled with laughter, relief, and overwhelming love. Without hesitation, the father forgave him instantly and completely. There was no anger, no resentment, only pure, unconditional love. He wanted his son to know that nothing could ever change the bond they shared, and that forgiveness was freely given, no matter the mistakes of the past. The father celebrated his son's return with great joy. He called for everyone in the household to join in the festivities, wanting the whole world to know that his lost son had come home. The air was filled with music, laughter, and the warmth of family reunited. He threw a great feast, preparing the finest food and drink. The house was alive with celebration, as friends and neighbors gathered to share in the happiness. It was a moment of pure gratitude and thanksgiving, a time to cherish the gift of family and the power of forgiveness. He gave his son new clothes, a beautiful robe to replace the worn garments of his journey. This was a symbol of restoration, a sign that his son was welcomed back, not as a servant, but as a cherished member of the family. He placed a ring on his son's finger and sandals on his feet, showing everyone that his son was honored and loved. These gifts were more than just possessions. They were tokens of acceptance, dignity, and belonging. The son had come home. He was safe, surrounded by love and acceptance. The pain of the past was washed away, replaced by the comfort of being home at last. But not everyone shared in the joy. The older brother was angry, feeling overlooked and hurt by the celebration for his younger sibling. He watched from a distance, struggling to understand his father's actions. He had stayed by their father's side, working hard and remaining loyal through the years. He had always done what was expected of him, never straying from home or breaking the rules. He had never disobeyed him, always striving to earn his father's approval. Yet in this moment, he felt invisible, his efforts seemingly unrecognized. He just didn't understand why his brother deserved such a warm welcome after all he had done. The older brother's heart was filled with confusion and frustration, unable to see the bigger picture of love and forgiveness. The father gently reminded the older son that they were both his beloved children. He explained that his love was not diminished or divided, but abundant enough for both sons. He wanted his older son to join in the celebration, to understand the joy of reconciliation. He said, "Let us celebrate and be glad, for your brother was lost and is found." This was a moment to rejoice, not to dwell on past mistakes, but to embrace the miracle of a family made whole again. This story reminds us that no matter how far we stray from home, our Father in heaven is always waiting for us with open arms. His love is patient, enduring, and always ready to welcome us back no matter what we have done. He loves us unconditionally and offers us forgiveness and a fresh start. No mistake is too great, no distance too far for his love to reach us. We are always welcome in his embrace. We can always return to him, knowing that we will be received with joy, forgiveness, and a love that never ends.